What is up, hexagons and pulsinators? Another Pulsechain update. A lot of stuff is happening, and I'm going to bring you all the details right now. Hex is at about 2.6 pennies, and it's been in this range for a long time. HV'd Hex with this tweet. This is how I envision the launch to go. Now, this is probably the best case scenario. Doesn't guarantee this is going to happen, but V3 testnet drops. I doubt the RH wallet is in the update. I don't think he's working on this yet. Once V3, the testnet drops, we're getting very close to mainnet. I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, the last hurdle before mainnet is V3. It all runs great, and if this happens, it's going to be huge. This will ignite virality. Headlines will start appearing. Every influencer starts vouching for it. Guys, keep in mind these big influencers, Carl on the Moon, Crypto Face, a trader on YouTube who trades $1 million live, Ivan on Tech, BitBoy Crypto. Like, these guys are already in the sacrifice. They're just waiting for it to run great to then start talking about it. They don't want to have a liability by talking about Pulsechain right now in case something happens, in my opinion. Pulsechain launches in the Hex community, grows by 5x. This is something we can't forget. Pulsechain is going to grow the whole X ecosystem because Hex is like the Bitcoin of Pulsechain. Hex is the store of value, and Pulsechain is going to target a way larger part of the crypto market. And that is going to, as long as it goes well, you know, it works great on all cylinders. That's just going to ignite the Hex community even more. And now the technical update on Pulsechain. If you guys want to pause right here and read this, I will let you do that. I'm not going to read this because it's very technical and most of you probably won't understand it. I definitely don't. But you can pause the video and read the technical update if you would like. And then here's a question for you guys. Put this in the comments below. What price do you think Pulsechain will launch at? 0.0001 is the sacrifice rate, I do believe. Do you think it launches at this price, below this price, above this price? Comment below. Great graphic here from Hex McKenzie. Keep in mind, over 100 people sacrificed $1 million in a Pulsechain and $1 million in a PulseX. You had 1,000 people that sacrificed $100,000 to both. And then 2,500 that sacrificed about 40,000 to both. So the amount of economic energy already in this system is insane. And a lot of people don't even know about Pulsechain. And a lot of people as well know about Pulsechain, but they miss these sacrifices and they're waiting on the sidelines for the release so that they can get their Pulsechain early. And the gains probably won't be as big as the sacrifice phase, but these projects could launch and the price could be below the sacrifice price. The whales in the ecosystem, the people that sacrificed millions of dollars, got almost 2 times the tokens that people who are at the bottom of the totem pole got. So these guys can sell their volume bonus of tokens, dump the price, and still be in profit. They can induce some scary stuff on the price charts and get other people to dump their bags. This is what whales do. They play games, and then they can buy back lower. The Pulsechain bridge has been reset. I didn't notice this until HV pointed this out. Look at the Pulsechain testnet. It says block 0, and it wasn't like this in the past. It was a much higher number, so maybe they are resetting this down to block 0 in anticipation of the testnet. I'm not sure. And this has been pretty crazy, guys. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I don't want to get censored. But have you seen this stuff about them mutating potentially the VIRUS, the CV19 thing that I can't say on this platform? Yeah, let me know your thoughts about this. I'm not surprised by it at all. It's crazy that people still call Project Veritas what's the word? A not genuine news media organization when it's one of the only media organizations we have left. And another update, PulseX lead has been taken down. New SAC balances for version 3 incoming. Things are changing on these platforms, and it makes me deduce, and this is just deduction, nothing's guaranteed, that we're actually close. And then another update from KDP, staking URL is no longer V2B. So just another change, shows that we're making progress. And if you guys like these updates, make sure you smash that like button. I really do appreciate it. And I want to leave you with a clip of Richard talking about economic centralization and incentives with a professional poker player. It's a real gem.
Kind of a hex pulse question, but do you think mainstream adoption is a challenge when a large amount of the tokens are owned by the origin address, or in the case of Pulsechain?
Nope. No one cares.
I guess a two-part question, so you could address each one, but like also in the case of Pulsechain, when whoever controls the ledger controls the system through proof of stake. So do you think that that's a challenge for adoption?
Let's talk about it. When was the best time to buy Bitcoin? When Satoshi owned 100% of the coins and there was no liquidity and there was barely any place you could buy it. Oh, interesting. When was the best time to buy Amazon stock or Facebook stock or Google stock? When the founders owned 100% of the coins and there was very little liquidity and it was very hard to buy. Oh, who knew? Yep, that's the case. And when you go to buy your Amazon stock or your Tesla stock, do you scroll onto the website and find out how much the founders own? And do you wish the founders owned less? And would you think, oh man, yeah, this founder doesn't own any of this garbage. That's way better for my investment. See, I don't understand why everyone gets everything so literally entirely backwards. So your gut feeling, your premise is centralized ownership bad for price. Nope, no, it's not. Go look at every single ERC20 that is murdering Bitcoin, and they all have like 98 or 95 or 90% of their coins in the top 100 addresses. All of them, every one. By the way, Hex has less. But everyone has everything backwards, and I have to de-educate them of their silly ideas. Centralized ownership is amazing. Did you know that 42% of Bitcoin sits in 2,176 addresses? Did you know that? It's fact.
I knew it was concentrated. I didn't know that specific.
Yeah, just go to Bitcoin rich list, and it'll be.
But a lot of those are exchanges, correct?
Yeah. Well, okay. And who holds the keys? And how does that work out for the users usually when they give the exchanges their keys? Mt. Gox, Quadriga CX, BTCE. I could go down the list.
Well, this makes sense.
KuCoin's been hacked.
What about in the case of Pulse, where they're trusting like the network itself because it's a proof of stake, and if someone owns more than a large portion of the network, they can control the network. Is that a risk?
All of these systems are socially enforced. Bitcoin has a 21 million coin limit, right? Not really. If the miners decide to change that number, they can just change that number. Period. That's it.
Right.
Bitcoin has a limit that the miners say it does. Same for the block size limit. Same for every single parameter in the network. If you're not a miner on the network, you don't actually have any say in what the